How's it going, everybody? This is Rusty here at FCP Aero, and today we're going to be doing the rear differential service along with the all-wheel drive service in the rear differential on our B9 Audi S5. On our particular B9 S5, we do have the sport differential. However, it is not the same differential in the A4, A5, nor the RS4, RS5. So just wanted to make it clear that the fluids and capacities we're going to be doing today are specific to the S5 specifically with this style sport differential. So in order to identify the differentials, you will need access to the PR codes which come in the vehicle's identifier, commonly found at a dealership. Some aftermarket shops may have access to this, but in order to correctly identify it, there is a chassis number on the differential, and that will get you some information in order to identify your differential correctly. The base differential has one drain plug and one fill plug. The two sport differentials that are optioned on this car have the 4 drain plugs and fill plugs. The fluid capacity in the RS models is a little bit larger, and the base models have a single fluid, and the fluid is actually a different than the ones we're going to be using here today. So in front of me, we do have the 4 drain plugs, which are the same for both the gear oil as well as the ATF fluid. So the service interval from the manufacturer is about 3 years on the all-wheel drive service. The gear oil is technically a lifetime fluid. However, there's a shelf life on any fluid. The manufacturers that sell this fluid would have to throw it out after a certain amount of time. So what's the difference when it's being used in the vehicle every day? There is no lifetime fluid in our opinion. So now that we have all the parts we need to do the job, let's go over the tools to do so. So in front of me are some of the tools you'll need to do the job for the rear differential service. 3/8 ratchet or a 1/4 inch ratchet accompanied by a 5mm bit, again in 1/4 inch or 3/8. And then to tighten those up, you will want a torque wrench. To fill the fluid, you will want some sort of fluid extractor filler, and then some rags as well as some brake clean to clean up the job during the service. Not pictured here. You will want a drain pan as well as 4 jack stands if you're not on a 2-post lift like we are, in order to keep the vehicle level during the filling of the rear differential. So now that we know what we need to do the job, let's get to it. So once you get the vehicle up in the air, the rear differential, as we said before, does have 2 separate fluid vats, if you will, or places to drain and fill the fluid from. So to not get confused, the driver's side is the ATF, and actually it does have a slight stamp on the just below the fill plug that says ATF on it, and your gear oil is going to be on the passenger side. So first step in any drain or fill on a differential, I like to take the fill plugs out to make sure that you can still fill the differential. So don't just go ahead and drain, because if you can't fill it and you strip the drain plug, the car's not going anywhere. So at least crack them loose. And I'm using the 1/4 inch on the driver's side with the exhaust here. If this vehicle is hot, you're more than likely going to burn yourself if you're using a large wrench. So again, 1/4 inch to get in there. You can more or less get into the gear oil side with plenty of room, but since we have the 1/4 inch here, we're just going to crack them loose. And again, they're not very tight. I'm going to start with the ATF on the driver's side. So we didn't know the history on this vehicle. You can see the fluid is fairly clean. So this may have been done somewhat recently. When the fluid begins to trail off, if it hasn't been done in a while or you're at your maintenance interval, you will start to see some debris in the actual fluid. But again, this may have been done prior to us picking the vehicle up or fairly recently and not had a lot of hard miles on it. Now that we've got a slight drip coming out of the ATF side of the differential, we're going to go ahead and put the drain plug back in, torque the drain plug to spec, and fill this side back up. So again, in doing the rear differential ATF service, if the vehicle was hot, you could melt or burn your fluid filling device. So this vehicle still cool to the touch. All right, so we are starting to get a little bit coming out. And at this point, the differential ATF circuit is deemed filled. As per the instructions, fill until fluid comes out. So let that taper off to a small drip. Once that's done draining, we'll go ahead and put the fill plug back in. And again, torque wrench isn't absolutely necessary. As you saw, it was kind of bulky getting up in there. If you do have a 1/4 inch ratchet with a 5mm, you can more than less just give it a 1/4 turn once it's snug flush. Now just go ahead and clean everything up, take the vehicle for a road test. We're gonna go ahead and service the gear oil at this time. So we're gonna just clean this one side up and we'll be back in a second to service the gear oil. Similar to the other side, this one has a little bit more access though. And then similar to the all-wheel drive clutch that we just did, let this drain out until you have a steady drip. When you're draining the differential fluid, as opposed to doing the all-wheel drive clutch, any discoloration in the fluid could be a sign of a larger problem, possibly worn bearings or worn gears. Obviously any metallic to the fluid, any metallic coloration to the fluid could be a sign of a worn differential. So our fluid was fairly clear, and this is what you should see when you drain your differential as well. So once you're at a steady drip like this, or it's not dripping at all, go ahead and reinstall your drain plug first. Go ahead and torque this one again. All these drain plugs on the rear differential, fill and drain, are 15 Newton meters. And then just like we did on the ATF side, go ahead and fill your rear diff. Go ahead and reinstall your fill plug while some fluid's still coming out here. Once you get it snugged up, go ahead and torque it down. All right, so once you've gotten back from your road test and made sure that there is no fluid leaking, drain plugs haven't fallen out, and everything is sounding okay during the road test, you have completed your differential and all-wheel drive clutch service on your B9 Audi. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop that in the comments below. And as always, we will have many more videos like this one, as well as many more, so feel free to subscribe for more DIYs. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.